what I want is going to cost me a lot. Let me learn this. So I met my classmates. I went to meet him in his house, and I even slept over. I can remember. I was like, okay, this is it. I want to learn tech. I want to learn this stuff because of my product I want to build. And then he gave me some resources, some WTV school resources, and yeah, some videos. I started it, and I will be honest, it was foreign to me. Like I started HTML, I knew HTML for like 1 week. The next 2 weeks or 3 weeks, I will be discouraged. Okay, I will, because of my passion towards the products that I wanted to build, I'll be like, okay, I have to go back again. I'll go back, start from scratch again. After like 2 weeks again, I'll go back again. I will stop for like maybe 1 month. So it was like off and on like that, and it was as if I wasn't getting anywhere actually at the end of the day. And yeah, so I spoke to a friend of mine, a very close friend of mine one time. He's in Lagos, so I told him, I said, I'm actually trying to learn tech, and this is it. And he told me, wow, courage, I'm actually in tech. I spent about 3 months learning it. And it was already working at that point in time. I was like, okay, can you coach me? And I was like, okay. So he started giving me stuff to started giving me responsibilities. And like, okay, learn this from this particular time to this particular time. Now, the reason I'm talking about is this. I want you guys to actually note this particular event at this particular time. After calling that guy, I also called another friend of mine, which some of us also know very well here, Ataku Godson, basically. And I was like, okay, Godson was already into tech, into tech already. So I spoke to him and was like, okay, um, I will also, it's also started mentoring me. So the problem I had was I had a friend that was mentoring me, like in a particular technology, and also Ataku was also there. My friend Godson was also there. That was also mentoring me in another technology, which was basically Python. So I was learning HTML, CSS, JavaScript one side. I was also learning Python one side. So it was actually very, very difficult. I can remember at that point in time there was a problem I was trying to solve. I was actually trying to use fast API in Python, um, like basically a framework that I had no idea about. I had no single idea about it. I did not learn the language, but I jumped into the framework and I was actually trying to implement something with it. I can remember I was stuck on something that somebody like me now would call like the very basics of programming right now. I was stuck on it for like close to a month. And the problem was because I was trying to learn something on one side, I was also trying to learn something the other side. So it was like my attentions at so when I went for my NYC, I decided that okay, all right, no, while I was still on the same route, learning two stuff. I was not making progress on any of the fronts. Actually, I was not making single progress. So I went to a software company that actually invited me to Abuja for an internship position. I went for the interview. That was the reason why I actually moved my NYC to Abuja. I went for the interview and two guys interviewed me, and at the end of the day, I didn't get the internship position. Imagine as at that particular time, the particular internship position that moved me to Abuja actually rejected me after I moved my NYC to Abuja. It was very, very, I was discouraged. I was heartbroken as at that point in time. I was like, okay, what do I do? I started basically moving around the street of Abuja. I can remember vividly. I started moving from company to company. I was trekking around Abuja actually, moving from company to company, just looking for any tech company that will actually just give me the opportunity to learn. Just don't pay me. I was not looking for money. Don't pay me. I can remember one of the process. I was checking and I just went on my phone and I just searched companies in Abuja, and a company popped up on Google, and I just like okay, the CEO's number was there, so let me just call him. I called him. I was like, okay, come over. He was not even in the office. He said I should meet somebody in the office, and before you know it, was just like, okay, no, Allah, fine. All right, we're ready to accept you, and I was accepted. I was accepted into the company. And when I got into the company, so I'm still going to talk about what happened in the company a little bit. So I got into the company, and after like a week, the CEO came back. After like 1 week, the CEO called me aside and told me that, oh, courage, software engineering, I've been doing this for over 20, for close to 20 years now. Um, Basically, I don't think you can actually really do this. So I'm going to be moving you to the educational team of the company. So I just want you to be there, just join them. Any software we have, join them to prepare the documentations and all that. I was like, okay, no wahala. I was actually not happy, but I was like, okay, no wahala. But unknown to me, that was actually basically, yeah, that was basically God working in my life. So in no distant time, I registered for casually registered for an internship in Andela, and then so the thing is, don't forget I told you guys I was trying to learn two different things. If there was a friend that was actually trying to put me through one process, and there's another friend that is actually still trying to put me through one other process, and I was not making progress in any of the process, which was basically my fault. I actually did not tell this one that okay, this is what this one is doing. Actually, because I did not want to disappoint them, because I felt these guys were helping me, so I didn't want to disappoint them. So I was trying to carry everything along. But when I got the underlying internship, I identified them, and what that actually did for me was to basically give me kind of like a structured learning. I basically um, underlying internship actually exposed me basically. We did a couple of courses, and some of the courses that we started with, I can't the first course I actually did in tech was basically a course on learning how to learn. So the name of the course was basically learn how to learn. So after going through the course, I discovered that it was actually very, very detrimental to my own career, trying to learn so many things at a time and trying to learn stuff that I do not understand or jump into stuff that I actually do not understand. So the underlying internship basically took me through the process of software engineering, and basically fast forward to 2022, here I am, and more than close to 5 years in it, and I'm still moving forward in it, and I'm still going. So basically, what I would say is one thing I always tell people that are learning, or should I say something that I always pick out from my own career. First of all, my learning process was actually very bad because I was trying to learn too many things at a time, and I wasn't learning anything. So up until the point I started the Andela internship, I basically wasn't learning anything. I felt I was learning, but I actually wasn't learning. So until I started the Andela internship, that was when I knew that okay, I I have started learning tech. But one thing I want to note about this is this. I never knew anything about money, if there was money in tech before getting into tech. Even while I was doing underlying internship, I didn't know if there was so much money in tech or anything. What was in my mind as at that particular time was just my product. I had a problem that I wanted to solve in the society, and I knew that okay, I needed to learn this particular stuff in order to actually solve this problem. That was actually my motivation. So my motivation was actually to solve my problem. So it was not until I started mingling with other tech guys and I felt okay, and I saw that okay, I still have to build myself. I still have to build my capacity, my human capacity, and my own experience as a engineer before actually undertaking my own product, so that I will make the right decision while building my own product. So basically, just my this is just kind of like a short overview of my journey so far. Yeah, that's it. I don't want to talk too much, so yeah.
Oh,
So, if
oh
you
boy.
have any question, okay. Sorry, before we go into the question, I also want to talk to us personally. Like most of us that are actually on this platform right now are those people that are actually maybe some of us. hard. Tech is hard. And I'm not saying that to actually discourage you actually. But after saying tech is hard, I want to tell you that every other thing in life is actually very, very hard. Most of us who went to primary school, went to secondary school, and some of us are actually university graduates. We can all testify that school was not actually easy. Some of us it might be very easy, but for me, school was not easy. So what I'm trying to say is this: everything in life is actually hard. But what I've noticed between people that are actually able to get things done and people that are unable to get things, people that fall by the wayside is actually just one thing, which is determination. That is just the simple truth. So whatever you are determined to achieve, once you put your whole heart into it, and I always tell people, okay, once you put your whole heart into it, you will achieve it. After saying this, let me then I believe from the beginning of the class I followed a couple of the WhatsApp chats that we actually had. I know we've had a lot of talk on motivation, on being determined, on focus, on those stuff. But I want to go a little bit more into the technical part of tech as it were. Um, some of the issue I get to find with a lot of beginners is this. Now, when you start learning tech, you you actually learn a topic today, and in your mind you wake up the next day, in your mind you are like, man, I'm a badass. Today you are a badass. The next day you wake up and you're like, what did I do yesterday? You can't actually remember. That actually discourages a lot of beginners. That is one of the major problem that I think I've noticed. That actually discourages a lot of beginners, and before you know it, they feel like, man, I don't think this thing is for me, because they feel they can't remember what they learned yesterday. They think, okay, I don't think my brain is strong enough to actually remember this, to actually do this. So what I want to say is this: you will forget. You will basically forget what you learned yesterday, and you will forget what you are learning right now tomorrow. I always tell people tech is not actually school. You know, we go to school and you are like the conventional system of taking your book, reading your book. I went to Uniben, and what worked for us then in Uniben was cramming. You pick up your book, you cram, you go to exam hall, you pour out. So if you read today and you can't remember what you read the next day, we start. Some of us we know what we do. Some of us we start fasting and praying and thinking that maybe village people have blocked our brain or something. Tech is not actually like that. Tech is not the conventional system of you knowing, basically cramming everything. Let me use that word. You when you go on Twitter and you check the tech space, you see a lot of people, a lot of people that have been in the tech space for close to 20 years. They keep on telling you that, okay, um, we go 70% of the time and actually code like 30% of the time. As I'm talking to you right now, I think I have close to like maybe 30 something tabs open on my browser right now. So you go 70% of the time. I check small things as little as how to maybe center a div. Okay, that's the popular one. Or maybe some CSS that can actually be difficult. Or should I some simple CSS actually? I can basically Google it. And I've been in the tech space for a while now, and I've worked on a lot of products. I've worked with, in short, my tech career. I've worked with more companies from outside Nigeria than in Nigeria. So, but still, I still Google the most basic stuff. So the idea of feeling that you have to be Superman when you are learning is actually something that discourages a lot of young people in tech. And some of the people that have been opportune to mentor, I think this is something that I always tell them, that I always motivate them. You see, when I give them resources to learn, you see them going over it and going over it. And when they tell me about it, and I'm like, don't do it. You've done it, Abby. You've done it once. In your mind, you feel you don't know it. Don't worry about it. Just keep on going, keep on moving forward. You don't have to do it and do it all over again. So that's something that I've noticed. The fact that you think that a lot of young people feel that they have to be Superman when learning tech. Another thing is learning too many things at a time. Like I said, um, um, like I said, at the beginning of my tech career, I was learning too many things at a time. I was trying to learn JavaScript, I was trying to learn Python. Even before learning Python, after learning Python for like a few days, I jumped into a framework which I knew nothing about. I, I was also trying to use SQL, which these are all different technologies basically coming together that I basically knew nothing about, but I was trying to jump into them and actually do those. So that actually affected me a lot, and I think that is a situation a lot of beginners will find ourselves. You see somebody, the person starts learning JavaScript, and before you know it, somebody that he feels he's looking up to, or he meets somebody new today, and the person, maybe the person prefers Python or anything Python. The person says, "Man, why don't you just learn Python?" And you see the person leaves the JavaScript that he has been learning for a while, goes to Python, start learning Python, meets somebody else, somebody says, "Come and learn C sharp," and the person starts learning C sharp. That is actually a huge problem. Let me even give you guys this scenario. When the company in Abuja, I told you guys that the CEO took me to one side and was like, tech might be too hard for you to learn, so just be in the educational side of the company. I was like, okay, and then my underlying internship started. So at that point in time, I had a lot of time for my underlying internship while I was working for the company. I was using the company's internet and all. So when the CEO actually saw that I was very, very slow, and he started seeing the products I was building, I think that at that point in time, I was sleeping just 3 hours per day. He saw the product I was building, then he knew that, oh man, this guy is serious. Then he called me aside and was like, okay, courage. Now I want you to come and learn the company's technology. And the company's technology was C Sharp and Microsoft.NET. And as at that point in time, I was focused on JavaScript. And I already knew that, okay, I can't learn something else when I'm actually focused on JavaScript. I personally I made the decision not to learn the company's technology. It was actually causing a huge problem between me and the CEO because I actually was not learning the company's technology. But at first, you were the one that told me that you don't want to teach me. So I went myself to learn what I want to learn. Now you want to bring me back. I knew that was actually going to hamper my growth, so I didn't want to do that. Pardon. So I focused on what I was learning. Though by the side, I then started learning the company's products, the company's technology. After I was to an extent grounded in what I was learning. So that was it for me. So I actually had to fight the CEO to an extent, yeah, in order to be focused on what I was doing at that point in time. So that is it. So trying to learn too many things at a time is actually very, very bad. Like you have to basically focus on one thing. If you want to learn digital marketing, focus on digital marketing. If you want to learn coding, focus on coding and focus on one part of it. If it is JavaScript you want to learn JavaScript. If it is Python you want to learn, focus on Python. If you want to learn data analysis, focus on it. So you being even the Bible said something. He said, "If you have neither code nor ought, said I will spit you out of my mouth." Sorry, I'm sorry, guys. I will spit you out of my mouth. So that is actually a natural law. And I want to tell you guys this. Whatever I was speaking with some people recently. It's actually a natural law that whatever you spend your time to do, you put your time to do to learn every day. You put your time to do it in no distant time. You will definitely make it in that field. That is the simple truth. If you decide today that you want to be selling a car and you are consistent in it and you are very good with it, in 20 years time you would have built mansion with that akara business. So it's actually, should I say, a law of life. So any niche of tech that you decide to focus in it. Don't stop. Just forget, avoid distractions. Just focus in it. Keep on doing it. And I always tell people this: when you want to learn tech, one mistake a lot of us make is this: we do 10 hours today, and the next 3 days we 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 do not open anything. We do not study any resources. We just abandon it. Then the next thing, the 3 days time, will come back. I will do another 10 hours. So that is actually a very very bad way to learn. So one way to do it, my students they know this. I don't joke with it. Any of anybody that I'm mentoring, I don't joke with it. If you agree this every day, you must do 1 hour. I don't play with it. Seen some research that says that our brain works better, like training our muscle memory. Like when we do tasks repetitively, we actually we get better at it. Instead of maybe spending like 10 hours today and then we wait for like 5 days time before doing another 10 hours. So you have to be consistent. Consistent is also another key. So you have to ensure that no matter what happens, what I tell people is that no matter how busy you are, even if you Buhari asks to see you, no matter what, even if you're not with your laptop, pick up your phone, go to Google, check an article, just read an article, and yeah, ensure that not a day goes by and you do not learn something new in that in your field, in your choosing field. So yeah, that's my 2 cents about this. I hope with this little talk I've been able to maybe inspire one or two people. Yeah. So if you have any question, um,